panel, and please all panelists come up here. It's going to be Anna Franziska, Gianluca, and Matthias. So first of all, be so kind and introduce yourself, so I don't have to do that.
Start. Hello, thanks for the invitation. I'm Anna, I'm CEO and co-founder of Yoona. Yoona is a digital fashion platform working with AI, augmented reality, and so on to create digital fashion just in only 3 simple clicks.
Hi everyone, I'm Gianluca, also called G. I'm partnership manager and business developer for Keyko, a Web3 engineering company, and I'm a digital art curator.
My name is Matthias Strobel. I'm running Music Tech Germany, which is the Federal Association for Music Technology, and we basically gather companies, research institutions, and academia people who work on technology that enable musicians, artists, the music industry to be creative and generate an economic income. So everything from the beginning of the creative process, production software, until the far end of merchandising, ticketing solutions. So everything that's involved with, that allows music to exist and to evolve on a technology basis, which is almost everything these days.
Cool, thanks. So Anna Franziska, like you're building stuff in the metaverse, if I can say it just in these words, and whenever decentralized technologies came across, like, did it change anything in the way how you're thinking about how you're building things, or was there not such a huge impact how we always think there is?
Well, I think for our industry, the fashion industry is a huge opportunity to work differently and to build new revenue streams, not like now creating thousands and thousands of physical garments. So for us, is it a revolution, and it's important that we all change this industry from Web 2 to Web 3.
Super cool, and I saw in your bio that you're combining like a lot of things, and I couldn't wrap my head around that, to be honest. It was like AI, sustainability, metaverse, fashion, and it also stated that you were like a fashion designer, then you got into coding, and then you came across deep tech and said, oh, okay, I'll try out something with that, and now you're changing the whole design industry, so can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, let's start in the beginning. I was working as a designer 15 years and I thought, I cannot keep working like that and I have to change this industry. It started like that and not like you said in the end. Yes, and then learned coding, and then I saw my what I do best is bring people together. Then I built a team, and with Yoona.AI we work on AI created fashion and helping this industry to streamline digital product creation and only some simple clicks. Then we developed augmented reality also to have showcases, and now we are founded also a conference series. It's called Yoonaverse, and it's like a show also building a room and a metaverse for our industry to give them the possibility to showcase and also to learn because they don't know. So.
Thanks. Matthias, like you're doing a lot, bringing together people, visionaries, startups, looking at new technology trends, trying to implement them in the music industry. So what changed with decentralized technologies and metaverse?
To be honest, not that much so far. There's a lot of experimentation, so I'm kind of like seeing this moment in time as an age of experimentation versus exploitation. So there's a lot of experiments going on out there. There's a couple of really cool projects that work with music and decentralization. A lot of NFT stuff is just bullshit. It's like adapting something that was already existing to a blockchain protocol, which doesn't make any sense in my opinion. But there's a huge potential on decentralized systems, blockchain protocols, to fix one of the most urgent problems that the music industry has, that's trust and transparency. And that's something that hasn't been put in place so far, but That's where I see the biggest potential in the blockchain protocols in general. But there needs to be a lot of education. Then the music industry is far more complex than any other creative industry, with so many different stakeholders, collecting societies, labels, publishers, managers, all these people in place. And we reached already a state in music that for the consumer side, it almost can't get any better. You can access music at any time, any point, any music that you want with streaming services. The problem that we have is that artists don't get paid. And that's not, the biggest problem is not the streaming services themselves, it's the structure of the music industry. It's the labels that have backdoor deals with these streaming services. And these things can be changed by decentralized services. Same thing is like, I don't know who's aware of like the black box in the music industry. It's like almost 50% of all royalties don't get paid out by collecting societies because the metadata is wrong. Because they're collecting metadata from somewhere, they put it in wrong, and then they can't pay out the royalties. And what happens is that at the end of the year, the royalties get paid out to the ones with the biggest market share. So a lot of musicians don't get their money. If we would have a metadata database on a blockchain that can't be, like nobody can actually interact with it, nobody can change anything, and we would pull that data out of that database, then we could actually create a kind of a fair system that can't have any wrong metadata because it can't be changed. And this is where I see the biggest potential, but it's a far way that we have to go until we reach that point.
So, I mean, tons of people are coming to you, and you're doing also a lot of events with Keyko, and you're doing also business development and partnerships. So I assume the one or other person talked with you also about NFTs, about music, about fashion, about art. So how do you see how these how NFTs in general will evolve? What kind of impact they will have on the metaverse?
It's a very good question. Yeah, as Keyko, we work with a lot of different partners on innovating the space and thinking always on new projects and use cases. So, for instance, we work a lot with the dynamic NFTs. So we're working on launching collections with impact NFTs and dynamic NFTs. So what's the dynamic NFTs? I see this in the next 2 years, like taking over a lot, and both from a collection impact perspective, but also from an artistic perspective. So it's pretty much connecting like an art piece that you can have in your living room with live data coming from a different database. So you can have like a forest that is flowering, is blooming, or is drying out from the date of the deforestation from WWF, right? So you can make interactive NFTs. So these are a lot of different use cases we're exploring. And I see that this is a huge impact on the, from an artistic perspective, is making life for creators, like is opening up infinite possibilities to make something that can change over time. And from a sustainability perspective is also like, I think creating a system where you can, you have at stake what you're interested into. You know, like in the blockchain space, we say a lot, put your mouth where, put your money where your mouth is. So like, if you care about a certain cause in a certain project, and there's some art that you can collect from that project, and you know that the money that you're giving to the project is really creating an impact, that's, I think, very beautiful. So I see in the next, like, from now till the next 3 years, this world space evolving a lot.
Cool. Sounds amazing.
You mean fashion NFTs can just move from hoodie to trousers and back to hoodie?
Yeah, okay, the question was also about the metaverse, right? So I didn't touch base on that. I see as well like a lot of fashion companies that are bringing, like, are creating digital twins, for instance, and so there's an increasing amount of users that is operating also on different metaverses. So fashion companies are like start creating not only the models and the design for physical items, but are innovating a lot to bring like very exclusive design on the metaverse. So this is like something I'm seeing a lot, but also the impact side of it. So launching collection or creating art around in the metaverse that can be brought also to the real life. So the connection between metaverse and real life is something that I'm very happy to promote. And I'm seeing also like a lot of different requests in it.
And if there's so much innovation going on in that art space and how people are trying to use NFTs, are you also taking these parts and trying to adapt it to other verticals? Is that something that you do?
Yeah, so coming, for instance, also in the music, I think that the NFT side is just a technological innovation that is coming through. It's just like a normal cycle we're following. But this has a huge impact in the different industries. So I'm very happy, for instance, that someone is taking from the fashion side, from the music side. Myself, I'm taking a bit care of the artistic side of things. So promoting also these different verticals, bringing the different verticals, connecting them to art. Because I believe that the creative space has actually a lot of power to innovate the different industries, to catch the attention, to create beauty around topics that may be beautiful or less beautiful. So, yeah.
Since we're all in that BBB, that Berlin blockchain bubble, how often is that a fashion label really comes to you and says, I want to do NFTs? Because in our point of view, it must be almost every fashion label coming to you right now and posing that question. Is that the fact?
They do.
So is it every single fashion label who's coming and says, I want to do something with NFTs, or do you have to convince them sometimes?
No, even Gary Weber, it's like an old school brand. They came to us and said, okay, you do digital fashion, we use your tool, but now we want to do NFTs. So, or it's all in gaming or whatever. Like, they're thinking about it.
Why is that?
I think it's the idea to create new revenue streams and come and changing the physical world where they're producing endless of clothing and looking for new revenue streams to change this model.
Like, I always thought it could be like that because designers could, I might be totally wrong, yeah, you have to correct me, that they are already designing their clothes in a way which is really similar how it could be then in the digital space, and then it's just like a small transformation you have to do, and then you have something that works also in the metaverse. That was my thinking. Maybe I'm super wrong there.
We told them, well, then let's do something crazy. What you never would sell. I mean, you know, they're consumer groups, consumer group. So let's see. But a lot of companies which are working with us coming and saying they want to sell different channel.
Like, I've been talking with a lot of people who are in that industry, who are trying to disrupt the music industry, and like, how much chances do you see that like decentralized technologies will totally change the structures that we have with music labels and with publishers? Do you think there will be a music label how it exists today in 10 years, or will they have to embrace that technology, else they are dead?
See, the music industry doesn't have any problem. The music industry is healthier than ever. They make more money than ever. They don't want to change. Like major labels, they don't see any reason for changing anything. They want to, as you said about the fashion industry, they want to open up new revenue streams. So they're playing around with like with some kind of like weird metaverse characters, like kind of like figuring out if there's a revenue stream, playing concerts in Fortnite for 10 million people, cashing in on that, cashing in on other stuff. So they're trying to figure out where else they can make money. The thing that Snoop Dogg does with Defo Records, kind of like turning a label into an entire blockchain-based NFT whatever label, is probably a pretty unique thing. It's gonna happen with a couple of labels probably out there, the big three, like the major labels. They are anyway too big ships to actually change from the structure that exists to a decentralized structure. And also for these major labels, music is an asset that they make money with. They don't give a shit about the artist. They see an artist, if they can make money with that, they promote that artist, they foster that artist, they give their best to make that artist successful, If that sucks, if that artist is not relevant anymore, then they go to another artist. So for them, it's kind of like an endless stream of assets that come in, and with the existing systems, they are pretty happy with that. I guess that there will be a lot of like blockchain-based labels coming up that have a more fair and transparent system, maybe even built as a DAO, which I think is a really, really interesting kind of like concept for independent artists to be able to get all the expertise and all the people on board to like produce videos, have designers on board, photographers, all these people, and kind of like make promises to them that gets automated by smart contracts so that everybody can actually trust that if they pay a favor forward, they get paid off at the end if that artist is successful. So I guess that there will be experiments, concepts for new labels, new kind of formats, but that in 10 years, no like standard label that we have these days, they will exist for a long, long time, longer than just 10 years, because it's just, they dominate it. And it's also, we won't have a Web3 streaming service as successful as Spotify, because the three major labels will not make deals with them, and then there will be no catalogs on it, and that's why this concept will also not work. So we need to have more innovation, we need to make use of, like, I like that you mentioned dynamic NFTs. I think that's an amazing kind of like concept where you can be super innovative, you can attach things to each other that are not possible in Web 2. There's lots of other innovative potential in this entire space for music, for creativity, for making money with it, but it's not going to be selling music as NFTs. Because if I want to have music, and maybe I'm a DJ, I want to include that track into my set. If I own an NFT of a track, I can't embed it into my DJ set, because I'm actually not owning the track. I'm owning an NFT, and the NFT is not the track. So that doesn't work for music.
Can I jump in on that?
Yes, you can.
We actually built, like, we supported the creation of a DAO and a platform called Autonomies, which is Web3 music platform on Polygon. And the idea is just also to bring an example on how we envision the future of the Web3 music industry is like having small collective where small events where we play rare tracks. So that is music that you can listen just to that event. And then like you can see a catalog if you're at that event and you can eventually buy. So and it's like maybe 2 editions. There's one unique edition of the same track, right? So DJs will move, and it's a bit the same with vinyls right now, right? It's in limited supply. Like the best DJs have like very rare tracks. So we see like starting from very small community, very small collectives, that you go to small events and you listen to music that no one else can play. So just
Then at the end, what are you offering these people who went to the events? An NFT of the tracks that have been played? Is that what you're offering?
it's like there's producers, and producers like upload on the platform the track. You can listen to 15-second snippet of the track. Then you can make an offer, you can bid, you can buy that, you can own then the track, and then if you own the track, you can come to these rare tracks events, and then you can play, and you know that only that person can play the track.
But how do I own the track then afterwards? Like if you sell me an NFT, like the vinyl, like that doesn't work that way, because if I'm owning a vinyl, I can take it to friends, I can show it to them, it's rare, I can embed it into my DJ sets, I can actually listen to it whenever I want. If I own an NFT, I can listen to that track on the platform where the NFT sits. It's not that I'm downloading the track and I can do whatever the fuck I want with it, because then the uniqueness is gone. So that's why I think the commodity of having music as a thing that I can use for my creativity, that I can chop, that I can fade in, fade out, all that stuff embedded into my DAW, that's something that makes music so valuable. If I only have it in one place and I can listen to it on one place on the web, that's not...
The idea is that you own the track and then you get access to the high quality file. So you own the file. Then it's up to you if you want to take the MP3 and share it with everyone else, or if you want to just put it in your pen drive and you're gonna play it, right?
All right, so you're offering the people to download the track and
Correct.
right, okay.
If I buy the track, then I have access to download the MP3.
Okay, if we think about NFTs, you have the opportunity to have like tons of people in the supply chain and have each of them give them like for the task they're doing for the final product a certain share. Is that something that you see in different industries, especially in the fashion industry or in the music industry? Because I know, for instance, in the music industry, you have to pre-finance all that studio work, and I assume in the fashion industry there's also some pre-financing. So could you imagine a world where you are working together in a more liquid, collaborative way, selling NFTs at the end, and whenever you sell the NFTs, those splits are getting to all these people down in the supply chain and offering everyone a fair share based on their skills?
You mean also the people who are working in Bangladesh and so?
I'm trying to be as inclusive as possible.
I think it's a new possibility for our industry to change something and maybe to do something out of that, like you said, like a collaborative thing. But I don't know if big players would do that. I don't know.
Music?
Do you think?
I mean, there are organizations out there that are trying to do that. Opulus for music, for example, or Nas with his platform. It's just hard to say. Like if there's different use cases for music in a metaverse or in a digital world where you can attach smart contracts to the track and kind of like pay out royalties to all the people who invested in the track up front in order to enable you to make the track in the first place. I love that idea. It's a super idealistic vision of the future for music, for artists to be able to raise money, to incentivize the people who support the artists. It's beautiful, but like if you do it these days, the Nas thing, like the platinum version of the NFT cost like $5,000. So the Nas track would need, I think, 70 million streams on Spotify to recoup that 5K. That's quite impossible at the present state of his music on Spotify. And then you just recoup what you invested. What I think makes these things interesting, if other benefits come with it, or if there's other kind of ways of performing, or if it gives you access to, speaking really broadly in the future, to get access to an avatar, hologram, whatever it is of the artist that I can set into a virtual world where I can invite my friends to listen to their concerts, maybe ticket it, then the ticketing would also go into that kind of like pot of money that gets paid out to all the people who invested in that artist. So there's like tons of different options, but having that concept in the present music industry, no, it won't work.
Actually, help me.
I see this as a big transition period, right? So we're moving from being Web 2, like from being centralized and like, so there are service providers that do a lot of work and run, like they have operational costs to provide services that they deserve getting a cut of what they can make from the artist. So I see this making a lot of sense, and we're transitioning into a system that is decentralized and wants to empower creators and artists to receive like 100% of what they are creating, but still like this creation and the hosting of the creation and the transfer and the full, there's still a lot of services going around empowering creators. So I completely foresee that this transition has to happen gradually, and we need to find as technology builders new way of providing technology and providing innovation in the space by allowing creators to make more of what they're doing. Otherwise, we're not changing anything.
Yeah, but creators are not the industry. I know what you mean with creators, and I agree, but you're talking about an industry, a very old industry, that is very difficult to change. And I'm totally agree with the creators. I think it's also could be, but the whole industry, the big one, I don't think that there will be.
I want to give a positive example because I don't want to be so negative. Like there's a platform called Async Art. It's also kind of like interactive, dynamic NFTs, if you want to put it that way. I spoke to an artist. Her name is Tara Naomi. She won the first music video award in 2007 on YouTube. So the YouTube Music Video Award, the first one. And after that, she got signed by Island Records, and I think, I don't want to say something wrong, by one of the major labels. And so she kind of like gave her rights to these major labels. She bought them back last year in January, and she put her music on Async Art. I don't want to go too deep into that, but what you can do on Async Art, you can put your music as stems on that platform, and you can allow your fans to take the stems and reorder them in a different kind of like matter, and then mint an NFT from that, so that other people can actually buy that NFT, and the original artist gets paid every time a new kind of track was created out of the original stems. She made in 7 days more than in 13 years. Like 7 days on Async Art made her more money than 13 years being signed by all these publishers and major labels. So there is opportunities in that space. If you're an artist that wants to experiment, that's open for that kind of technology, that wants to dive into that, and wants to go down that alley. But if you put your MP3 files and put them as NFT somewhere, nah.
But you made me smile in between. Thanks. So I don't know. Okay. We still have some time. So if we are looking now, like you said something about 3 years, let's go a little bit longer down the line, like 10 years. Like, what do you envision we can see with NFTs?
Okay. So maybe many of us have this vision of this hyper augmented reality. So like walking out, we're gonna have this AR glasses, and we're gonna be able to visualize information on top of public spaces. Maybe I'm here and I have my glasses, and they see your name, and they see like your latest Instagram post or something like this.
So I'm the NFT, and I'm saying you're allowed to see that information, or
So I see that we're gonna add more additional layers of reality on top of the existing world, and I'm going very far, right? So
go as far as you can.
yeah, can I? So the question is that if we allow companies like Meta to control this layer of information we will see, they will always decide what information we will see. So we will walk in the street and we can see like available car spots and information for other person and so on. So I see that we need to create a public augmented reality layer that is controlled by people and not by big corporation. And NFTs will be one way to show what we want to show to other people. And will be also one way to do governance around public layer. So we will be able to actually like curate information that are displayed outside in the world. So I see them from in a very far use case as a kind of ID, digital ID that we own, that allow us to collaborate with other communities and work in a society together to control the information that are out there.
You also made me smile. So, what about the fashion industry? If you think about how it changes a lot, how would you envision how that will look like in 10 years?
Yeah, I think now it's like NFTs and all the spaces, like the perfection of digitization in this industry. And I think, and I believe in 10 years, there will be the hierarchy would change. We have some creators or smaller companies, they're only digital, and they will be in a big place. That would be my idea. And also that bigger players also go to digital and using these digital streams and metaverses and going for NFTs and everything gaming, and that will be a big revenue stream. And actually my dream is that we cut down physical product creation and then we will all immerse in only wearing digital clothing.
So we're all naked.
We're all naked.
We're naked, yeah, okay.
Did I get it right? We're all naked and we're just wearing.
Yeah, but if I see my kids, I mean, we have also to think about new generations. They will change. So I see them more immersed in technology and digital reality. So maybe they wear some only, like, I look at us, I mean, we are wearing only black clothing, and everybody maybe is going to the metaverse, and to some metaverse we will have a lot. And wearing some different clothing, you know.
Okay, cool. And we heard like music labels are not dying, but what is happening in the music space? Because I need a good transition to come to them. So
Doing music.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. Cool. Because I believe, like, I want to go away from the NFT world. I'm a big fan of blockchain and the capabilities of blockchain when it comes to music. I think that there's tons of opportunities in the metaverse, in digital experiences, opening up new revenue streams, having micropayments, concepts for live streams in games of concerts, having merch that can be sold and can be worn in a metaverse. Like, there's tons of opportunities for musicians to actually activate their fans as the BTS people do already with their army, like going out, telling other people in the metaverse about their idols. So I think there's tons of opportunities in that, but we need to go away from this concept of building stuff that exists already in a good way, and we didn't use the entire potential of Web 2 for music, and now just copying it on Web 3. If you want to support an artist, go on Bandcamp, buy their merch, buy their vinyls, buy their music there. Like, that's benefiting the artist way more, and then you actually own something and not just like a link. So I believe that there's opportunities in blockchain and metaverse for music big time, but it's not gonna be what we see these days.
Cool. Now we are coming to our entertainment part.
And yeah, virtual reality, I like to, because we wanted to have that bridge. I didn't believe in virtual reality for music like a couple of years ago. These days, I'm actually believing that if you not just replicating a real life performance in VR, but doing something that actually uses the opportunities of a digital space, that's where virtual reality for music comes in and can create a whole new world of experiences.
So let's see what we see and hear right now in a second, and you have to make him smile as well. So thanks a lot for our panelists.
Thank you.